The Dot by Peter H. Reynolds. Art class was over, but Vashti sat glued to her chair. Her paper was empty. Vashti's teacher leaned over the blank paper. "Ah, a polar bear in a snowstorm," she said. "Very funny," said Vashti. "I just can't draw." Her teacher smiled. "Just make a mark and see where it takes you." Vashti grabbed a marker and gave the paper a good, strong jab. There! Her teacher picked up the paper and studied it carefully. She pushed the paper toward Vashti and quietly said, "Now sign it." Vashti thought for a moment. "Well, maybe I can't draw, but I can sign my name." The next week, when Vashti walked into art class, she was surprised to see what was hanging above her teacher's desk. It was the little dot she had drawn, her dot, all framed in swirly gold. I can make a better dot than that." She opened her never-before-used set of watercolors and set to work. Vashti painted and painted. A red dot, a purple dot, a yellow dot, a blue dot. The blue mixed with the yellow. She discovered that she could make a green dot. Vashti kept experimenting, lots of little dots in many colors. If I can make little dots, I can make big dots too. Vashti splashed her colors with a bigger brush on a bigger paper to make bigger dots. Vashti even made a dot by not painting a dot. At the school art show a few weeks later, Vashti's many dots were quite a splash. Vashti noticed a little boy gazing up at her. "You're a really great artist. I wish I could draw," he said. "I bet you can," said Vashti. "Me? No, not me. I can't draw a straight line with a ruler." Vashti smiled. She handed the boy a blank sheet of paper. "Show me." The boy's pencil shook as he drew his line. Vashti stared at the boy's squiggle, and then she said, "Sign it."
To celebrate International Dot Day, Year 4 artists, here's your challenge. To create a dot or dots inspired by Dot and Seurat, and to use watercolors and Q-tips in painting the design. But first, who was Dot and Seurat? Born on December 2, 1859, Dot and Seurat grew up in Paris, France. His parents were wealthy, allowing him to focus on his art. Seurat began to explore the science of optics and color. He found that rather than mixing the colors of paint on a palette, he could place tiny dots of different colors next to each other on the canvas, and the eye would mix the colors. He called this way of painting divisionism. Today, we call it pointillism. Seurat felt that this new way of painting would make the colors appear more brilliant to the viewer. In 1884, Seurat began to work on his masterpiece. He would use pointillism to paint a huge painting called Sunday Afternoon on the island of La Grande Jatte. It would be 6 feet 10 inches tall by 10 feet 1 inch wide, but would be painted entirely with small dots of pure color. The painting was so complex that it took him nearly 2 years of non-stop work to finish. He kept the painting a secret, not wanting anyone to know what he was doing. He continued to paint using the pointillism style. He also experimented with lines. He also grew to be friends with other post-impressionist artists of the time, including Vincent van Gogh and Edgar Degas.
Today, we are going to learn about a painting technique called pointillism. In the late 1800s, two artists, Paul Signac and Georges Seurat, began experimenting with a new style of painting. Instead of blending paint colors together with long brush strokes, these artists covered their canvases with small, distinct dots or little dashes in contrasting colors. When you look at these paintings from a distance, your eyes blend the dots together to form a consistent picture. But when you examine the paintings up close, you can actually see a pattern of separate little paint dots or marks. Art critics in the late 1800s made fun of these artists and called their new art technique pointillism because they were only using the point or tip of their paintbrushes. The artists laughed back and said, "Yep, that's exactly what we're doing," and the name pointillism stuck for their special painting technique. Instead of painting the way everyone else was painting, they were trying something new, and the result was beautiful.
Well, what are you waiting for? Let's create!